Tonight on Cronkite News, migrant encounters at the border have surged, where the Southwest is seeing the most migrant arrivals.
Plus, the Arizona organization is dedicated to helping foster kids who have aged out of the system.
And the Phoenix Mercury introduced their new head coach, who said he's all in on turning the team around. Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News. I'm Tabitha Bland.
And I'm Jacob Luthi. Thank you for joining us. In a win-or-go-home game, the Diamondbacks took on the Phillies at Citizens Bank Ballpark in Game 6 of the NLCS.
Arizona was trying to force a Game 7 after going down 3-2 in the series, and it's always tough to win on the road. Trey Matthews joins us with the nerve-wracking Game 6. Trey?
The Diamondbacks lived to see another day as they defeated the Phillies 5-1 in Game 6 of the NLCS, thus forcing a Game 7. This was the Phillies' first home loss during the postseason. The D-backs bats came alive early in this one as Tommy Pham and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. hit back-to-back solo shots in the second inning. After surrendering 3 home runs in Game 1, starting pitcher Merrill Kelly redeemed himself by pitching 5 strong innings and striking out 8 batters. The bullpen backed up Kelly tonight by pitching 4 scoreless innings in relief. After that, the Snakes didn't look back. The Diamondbacks will now look to win one more game on Tuesday in order to punch their ticket to the World Series for the first time since 2001. In the newsroom, Trey Matthews, Cronkite News.
In a recent forum featuring mayors across the country, Mesa Mayor John Giles said homelessness is a complex issue. And he wasn't the only one. Renee Romo reports from our Washington bureau on how city leaders are trying to help those experiencing homelessness. Renee?
Mayor Giles told the Washington Seminar that he has called homelessness an issue in Mesa since he took office. But he no longer feels he has to fight to make people understand the seriousness of the issue.
I think in most people's minds, they've come to realize that homelessness is not an issue, it's the issue in our communities.
He was one of 5 mayors at the Bipartisan Policy Center Forum, all of whom agreed that it's critical to ensure permanent services are offered to successfully help the unhoused out of their vulnerable situation. A more permanent solution is something Giles said Mesa is aiming for with its 3-year-old Off the Streets program.
You know, we have a strategic plan for how we're going to do this. It includes emergency services, emergency housing, transitional housing, affordable housing, and putting people on the continuum and hopefully progressing them through that system.
Off the Streets includes emergency housing the city provides by renting around 80 motel rooms a night. The Mesa City Council will consider a measure next month to buy a motel for emergency housing for the most vulnerable homeless populations, such as families, seniors, and victims of domestic violence.
What the city of Mesa is trying to do with the Grand Hotel and their Off the Streets program and their good neighbor policy and all of those things, I think is an absolute step in the right direction.
But Long Beach, California Mayor Rex Richardson warned that emergency housing cannot be the only solution. He pointed to Project Room Key, a California state project that provides hotel rooms for unhoused populations that were vulnerable to contracting COVID-19.
Band-Aid solutions will not help in the long run. We have to really dig in and focus on root causes and upstream interventions.
Giles said he is aware that Scottsdale officials recently faced community pushback when they proposed buying a hotel for emergency shelter, a problem he hopes to head off in Mesa through community outreach. In Washington, Renee Romo, Cronkite News.
Mesa's proposal to expand its Off the Streets program by buying a motel is being called the Good Neighbor Policy. Giles says the City Council will vote on it on November 6th.
Recent numbers from Customs and Border Protection show Tucson is the sector seeing the highest number of people migrating into the U.S. There have been 1.8 million migrant encounters at the southwest border so far in fiscal year 2023. Just over a quarter of those were in Tucson and Yuma. This graph shows the total number of migrants at the border every month since 2020. After a dip over the past summer, numbers have surged. Tucson, the yellow line in this graph, has seen a recent increase in migrant encounters with over 48,000 in August. Yuma also saw almost 7,000 people in August, saw over 232,000 migrant encounters total. There is just 1 week left to enjoy the Arizona State Fair. The event, known for its ride and food, also has a charitable side.
Yeah, this year the State Fair is supporting one nonprofit's mission to break the cycle of homelessness. Cronkite News reporter Roxanne De La Rosa joins us in the studio. And Roxanne, you spoke with a young man who got a second chance at life.
Yes, Tabitha. Finding a job and a place to live can be especially difficult for young adults aging out of foster care. One young man I spoke with found a way to find support and healing. At 7, Jaden Lopez Cecil went into foster care. A family adopted him at 14, but 4 years later, he says he battled with a lot of personal issues.
And I didn't have the resources of where to go the next step.
Cases such as Lopez Cecil are common. As of September of this year, there are slightly under 10,000 children in foster care in the state of Arizona.
So I was kind of couch surfing for almost a whole year.
Organizations such as Foster 360 help young adults like Lopez Cecil who have aged out of the foster care system by providing housing, counseling, and teaching them life skills.
They've had traumas. We call it complex traumas because it's trauma after trauma after trauma. So we want to give them a place to truly heal and rest.
This year, the State Fair is donating $1 to Foster 360 from every Fast Pass they sell. Elena Reed from Foster 360 says the support is huge for the group.
That money will help us to keep our lights on, to run the program, and to be able to afford for these young adults to have that time to work on themselves.
For Lopez Cecil, the program gave him the space to work on his mental health and focus on his goals.
And other programs that I've been through were just, you have a job, you have a place, that's it. There's not much assistance that you get.
Next year, Lopez Cecil will be graduating with an associate's degree in behavioral health. Lopez Cecil wants to help others who have been in his situation. Without Foster 360's help, he says he couldn't imagine how life would be. In the newsroom, Roxanne De La Rosa, Cronkite News.
Coming up next, the effects of the Israel-Hamas war are felt on college campuses, how ASU students feel about the conflict, and what they're doing in response.
Newscasting has changed a lot since the time of Walter Cronkite. That's why here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, you can learn the studio production skills of today in real time. Whether you want to work audio, direct, technical direct, design graphics, or you can even run the floor. It's all part of the Television Production and Graphics Lab here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. We're going on in 3, 2...
Did you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
The ongoing war in Israel and Gaza has impacts here at home, particularly on college campuses. Denzen Cortez says many college groups are seeking to have their voices heard.
Free Israel. Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
College campuses across the nation turning into places of protest as the Israel-Hamas wars in Gaza continue. At college campuses like Arizona State, tensions are evidently high, both on Palestinian and Israeli sides.
It's just a really scary time, and this is getting very real and very scary very fast.
A rally, and there were people intimidating us behind us.
The conflict that started on October 7th when Palestinian-based group Hamas launched an attack on Israel, the death toll climbing day by day as civilians and troops on both sides fight for what they believe.
And it's also very personal because I have cousins that are on the front lines right now fighting in Gaza. So there's that. And then I also have little cousins who are going to be traumatized about this for the rest of their life.
The severity of this war doesn't just span across the Middle East, but has affected both the Israeli and Palestinian communities on college campuses, including Arizona State. A war spanning generations, continuing to divide as each side believes they are in the right.
We see all the oppression that happens. I mean, we need to stand up for it. And the last 75 years, like, Palestinians have been oppressed. And all of a sudden now it feels like everything is just blowing up and people are starting to notice finally.
Handing out sweets and candy celebration. It wasn't a military celebration that they got new land. It was that they killed Jews. Boggles the mind. I am not going to try to make sense of the senseless, because what happened on Saturday, on Shabbat in Israel, to me it's not a military conflict at that point.
Both communities united in solidarity as they mourn their loved ones' losses while taking a stand to an ongoing war spanning 75 years.
You know, in the Holocaust, we always say never again, but I was talking to my uncle and he's like, it's literally, unfortunately, happening again.
It's not even like an issue of anti-Semitism, which is what a lot of news outlets try to paint it as. It's not anything about religion. It's not a religion of war at all. It's more of like a human rights issue. My grandfather had to flee the war and everything. I know the history of it. I know the complexity of it. I know that if we don't stand up for what we believe in, if we don't stand up for our country, we're just going to be repeating history all over again, which is what we're trying to prevent.
Local government officials in Tempe have taken notice and have offered support to communities affected by this ongoing war.
A lot of students that come here from other states and also internationally, many times you do really lean on people because you need support systems because you're not close to home, you're not near your parents, you're not near siblings. And so that support of the university, that support of the city of Tempe is critically important to make sure that you can work through very, very difficult times and especially very trying times that we're living through right now.
And as the war continues, so do these student protests. Both sides affected, advocating to bring awareness to a war that is taking the lives of many. In Tempe, Denison Cortez, Cronkite News.
The Harris administration is calling on leaders in Western states to create new guidelines that would dictate the future of the Colorado River. The current guidelines in place protecting Lake Mead and Lake Powell expire in 2026, and they haven't been updated since 2007. They dictate water conservation during shortages like we're experiencing now. Arizona is currently part of a voluntary drought contingency plan, but these new guidelines will be mandatory. Leaders from the Bureau of Reclamation say they hope to also offer protections to more than 30 indigenous tribes that use the river. A first draft of these new guidelines is expected by late 2024.
It finally feels like fall here in the valley. Adriana Gonzalez-Chavez joins us now with this week's forecast.
Good evening, everyone. We're sitting about 82 degrees right now, and nothing but clear skies for the rest of your evening, hitting a low of 76 degrees by 10 p.m. tonight. And then looking into our future cast across the state, the east part of Arizona may be having a chance of storms and a chance of clouds and rain by the Safford and Wilcox area. Going into tomorrow, more chances of storms for the east and south part of Arizona, out by Sierra Vista and Tucson. And then looking into our low temperatures for tomorrow, pretty chilly up north, a low of 27 degrees for the Grand Canyon, a low of 31 for Flagstaff, while it'll be pretty nice and cool in Phoenix and Casa Grande and Tucson area. Phoenix will be hitting a low of 64 degrees, Casa Grande a low of 57, and Tucson a low of 57. Getting pretty nice and chilly in the afternoons. And then looking at our high temperature for tomorrow, Phoenix won't be getting too warm, only hitting a high of 85 degrees, really starting to feel like fall across the state. Casa Grande a high of 82. Grand Canyon a high of 66, and then Flagstaff a high of 61 degrees. And then looking into our 8-day forecast, chance of clouds for Tuesday, while Wednesday through Thursday, we clear right back up. Wednesday, high of 85, Thursday, high of 86. And then our Hottest day of the week will be Friday with a high of 89, and then we cool back down Saturday through Monday, with Monday hitting a high of 74 degrees, really nice weather. And then Tuesday we warm up just a little bit again, hitting a high of 79 and a low of 53. Back to you, Jacob and Tabitha. Adriana Gonzalez-Chavez from the Cronkite Weather Center.
Thank you so much, Adriana. Now, if you were watching the D-backs game on Saturday, you may have heard more than a few local shout-outs.
Our ears certainly perked up here at the Cronkite School when the camera picked up Devin Booker filming the game. Take a listen.
I mean, he's taking it all in. I thought I was kidding. I didn't know they made those. Still, maybe he rented that from the Cronkite School in Arizona State. Give me your ID. Get it for 3 days.
That was Brian Anderson on the call, and no, Booker didn't get that camera from us. You see, our gear is a little bit nicer here at Cronkite, as our own Sam Stern can attest. He joins us now with what's ahead in sports.
I most definitely can, Jacob. And coming up next, obviously with better cameras, we take you out to the rink where the Coyotes rolled out their red carpet for the home opener. Fans also came out in full force for year 2 at Mullet Arena. We bring you that plus more next on Sports.
We tell ourselves stories as a nation.
These stories need to be highlighted, they need to be explored. We're the dreamers.
How serious is America's commitment to looking at its history? How can we learn from the past?
Douglas said, "You're going to look me in the eye and see my humanity."
It's illuminating. I'm seeing the expansiveness of my history.
It's pretty great.
There's so much richness to Black life and Black culture.
I think the story of Muslims in America is the story of America.
Tonight, they are free.
I cannot imagine how excited he must have been.
It's a wonderful feeling. This is why we do this. It makes me even more committed to struggling for a better world.
Here at the TV Production and Graphics Lab, we are behind the scenes making the news happen. Gain experience in the control room directing, teledirecting, and rolling the audio of every Cronkite News show. Run the floor and work in a professional environment, honing your skills for the future. Create graphics that will be seen by the local community on Arizona PBS. Be a part of the bloodline that makes the Cronkite News shows possible.
ASU's one and only student-run radio station, Blaze Radio, provides students with opportunities to cover a variety of topics. From music,
this is Sun City Garage,
to sports coverage.
Against the Brewers in his last outing, he went
to news.
The bill also gives parents the ability to see.
And entertainment updates. Blaze Radio offers a fun environment to gain valuable broadcast experience. To find out more, visit blazeradioonline.com.
Good evening and welcome to the Cronkite Sports Report. I'm Sam Stern. Major League Baseball opened ticket sales today for the World Series, and Diamondbacks may want to get on the jump and get those tickets as the D-backs are now just one win away from the Fall Classic. As we mentioned earlier in the show, they got the win in Game 6 against the Phillies on the road. Manager Torey Lovullo reflects on how great this entire series has been for this young squad who wasn't even anticipated to make it this far.
Couldn't be any more excited about where we are and the sacrifice and the commitment that we made as a front office, together with the front office, sacrifice that we've all made together with the players, and coming out the other end, it's a very gratifying feeling, but we're not satisfied. We're not to that point yet where we said, you know, this is the end result. This is definitely not the end result. We got more work to do.
The Coyotes are off to a 3-2 start, including a big win in their home opener against the Ducks on Saturday. It was a matinee affair that started on the red carpet. And as our Matt Venezia reports, optimism was in the air.
The NHL's second season in Tempe got underway with a red carpet event at Mullet Arena on Saturday. Fans got to see their favorite Coyotes up close, and the team is glad to be back home after a 5-game road trip that took them all over, literally.
That Australia trip was great, but it was obviously long, and even preseason we played away all the time, and now we started the year on the road, so it's always we'd rather play at home than on the road, right? So we're just excited to be back, and we gotta take advantage of it.
Between cornhole, Connect 4, and other fun events, and even having the players come by to sign autographs for fans, there was a lot to like today at the red carpet. But beyond that, the way management sees it, it's not about just getting fans ready for a season opener or a home opener here at Mullet Arena. It's about getting everyone rallied together in the Valley for many more of these events for years to come.
To build an organization that's about impact, about leveraging this incredible power of sports to make a difference in the lives of others. When you do that, you get this fan base and you welcome all these new fans and you show them that this is an organization and this is a brand they want to be aligned with.
The front office seems to have a plan, and the members of the pack shouldn't worry. Seeing the guys on the ice start the season with a few wins has been helpful in this process.
They're still here, they're still trying to get the community involved, and they're still playing their heart out. So we're still here, we're still going to cheer for them every step of the way. They got people smarter than us figuring out the details, and so we'll just let them handle it and stick with them.
The Mullet Magic is officially back now in Tempe for Arizona Coyotes hockey, which means that fans of the pack all across the Valley are now being called on to come support this youthful era of Arizona Coyote hockey. In Tempe, Matt Venezia, Cronkite News.
The Phoenix Mercury are moving forward with not only a new owner, new GM, but now a new head coach who becomes the highest paid in the WNBA. The team introduced former Orlando Magic assistant coach Nate Tibbetts on Friday. Our Ryan Bunnell has more on the historic and somewhat controversial hire.
After missing out on playoff basketball for the first time since 2012, the Phoenix Mercury have officially introduced Nate Tibbetts as the team's new head coach.
This is a heck of an opportunity to become a head coach and continue to grow, and obviously the commitment that this organization is going to make on a day-to-day basis is second to none.
With this hire, Nate Tibbetts is now just the third male head coach in the WNBA. Although he has over a decade of experiences with NBA organizations, Tibbetts enters his first year in the league as the highest paid head coach. Despite the optics, general manager Nick Urin is confident that Tibbetts is the right person for the job.
We know as we run a WNBA organization that diversity and opportunity are critical. I would say our process, our candidate pool, and our finalist pool all reflected that. And now I'm excited for us to be able to take action in terms of building a basketball operations staff and a coaching staff that reflects that diversity.
Tibbetts grew up the son of a women's basketball coach. That experience, as well as his time in the NBA, has prepared him for this moment.
Because of the way I was brought up, what I've seen and been around, NBA, WNBA, this is a great opportunity to coach some of the greatest players that have ever played this game.
Tibbetts will serve as the Mercury's fourth head coach since the 2021 season. In Phoenix, Ryan Bunnell, Cronkite News.
While the Major League Baseball season is winding down, the Arizona Fall League continues to produce the future stars of the game. And for the first time, this year's Fall League tripleheader was hosted by the city of Goodyear. The construction of Goodyear Ballpark was completed in 2009, and for the past 14 years, it has hosted spring training games for the Cleveland Guardians and the Cincinnati Reds. The ballpark has continued to be a marketing tool for the growing city of Goodyear.
I hope this is just the beginning. We keep doing this over and over again because these prospects you may see again on the big field. We're growing so fast, the amenities here, the culture. It's an overall great community. I love to be mayor and honored to serve as mayor in the city.
That wraps up your Cronkite Sports Report. Jacob and Tabitha, back to you.
Coming up next, honoring the world's oldest dog.
We remember Bobby from Portugal. We are back in 2 minutes.
And that's the way it is. Monday, September.
Newscasting has changed a lot since the time of Walter Cronkite. That's why here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, you can learn the studio production skills of today in real time. Whether you want to work audio, direct, technical direct, design graphics, or you can even run the floor. It's all part of the Television Production and Graphics Lab here at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism. We're going on in 3, 2...
Did you
you know newsrooms today are looking for bilingual journalists? Cronkite Noticias prepares you to cover diverse communities. In Cronkite Noticias, you will obtain an unforgettable experience.
Nopales como este van a tumbar.
Cronkite Noticias.
And develop your skills with the latest technology.
Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication's Phoenix Sports Bureau provides students with hands-on learning experiences and opportunities in sports journalism. From covering local high schools, colleges, and the pros, students get the opportunity to go live from our Facebook shows covering local, collegiate, and pro sports in the Valley. From digital reporting, broadcast, social media, and producing, there's opportunities for all. For more, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
The oldest dog in the world passed away on Saturday.
Bobby, a pure-breed Rafael de Alentejo from Portugal, was 31 and a half, according to Guinness World Records. Bobby, born in 1992, was actually the oldest dog to have ever lived, beating the previous record by 2 years. Bobby's owner said he believes the dog's diet is the reason he lived so long. The average life expectancy for a dog like Bobby is 10 to 14 years.
That's it for Cronkite News. Thank you for joining us.
And to see top Arizona stories anytime, log on to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.